your boy Ziggy Doom. How's everybody doing, y'all? School is right around the corner. Kiddos going back to school. Got to get the school supplies, school clothes. Y'all know the routine, y'all parents. So it's nothing new, just another year, right? You know, the pictures and all that stuff. This podcast, we're going to talk about parenting, children, some things that kind of are near and dear to my heart, and probably controversial, but you know, it's just something I feel like I should discuss and get y'all opinion on it. Shout out to all my subscribers. Shout out to everybody that support the channel. As always, you guys give me purpose. Without you guys, this YouTube thing would kind of be a little moot. Well, not necessarily. My kids could always look at how they were when they were younger and when they got older, right? But for the podcast purposes, right, I'm talking, you know, I got to have an audience to talk to, somebody to listen. 1 or 2 people. It ain't got to be 80, 90, 100,000. Just 1 or 2 people just to listen, get a different view on things, and go from there. So one of the things that happens a lot is, you know, 2 people have a child, and they don't work out. They go their separate ways, but they do share a child. And maybe when they go their separate ways, things between them don't, you know, it's rough, it's bad, it's toxic, whatever. It doesn't end on good terms, and they feel some kind of way about each other. Now, when they have a child, when they share a child, that means they're gonna always, in one way, form or another, have interactions with each other. At least that's how it should be, right? With 2 parents and a child. When that child has questions about the other parent, should you badmouth that other parent to the child? Now, I guess the obvious answer, the most obvious answer would be no, right? No, you shouldn't badmouth the child's other half to the child, because the child cares about their both halves. Maybe you don't care about the other half of the child, so you shouldn't badmouth the child. But it's a interesting thing about that I want to give y'all some perspective on. Now, when we say badmouth the other parent, are we talking just negative, just, oh, they disgusting, they ugly, they stupid, they can't keep a job? Are we talking about like derogatory remarks about that person? Or are we talking about things that are actually true? Because here's my take on it. If your child asks you a question about the other half, some parents think that children shouldn't hear certain things, right? Like, this is not something that a child should hear. So they may curtail the question, or the answer to the question, or don't answer it at all, you know. Now, I agree. Some things children should not hear. They shouldn't hear them because they don't process things the same way as adults. So you may tell a child something that you understand about their other half, but the child may not understand it. And that's up to each parent, right? We all have our, you know, some children, they understand at 15. Some children, they don't understand until they're adults. Some children understand when they're 12, whatever. My thing is this. If your child asks you a question about their other half, and you answer that question honestly, even if it's something that may be bad about that child's other half, is that worse than lying to the child, saying, I don't know, you know, don't ask me, you wouldn't understand? Here's an example. Let's say the child's other half is in jail for whatever reasons. They're in jail. And they're in jail for a long time, 5 years, 10 years. You know, the child grows up, hey, you know, where's my other half? Why are they not around? You know, how do you answer that question? And not only how do you answer it, but does your answer to that question, is it going to be based on how you feel about that other half? If you care about that other half and they end up in jail, do you tell your child, well, you know, they're going to be away for a little while, they're on vacation, you know, they just have some very important out-of-town stuff to do? Or if you don't care for them, would you say, yeah, they went to jail, they robbed somebody, they murdered somebody, they in jail for robbery, theft, murder? You see how the context can change based on our personal feelings? And that's a problem that I have with that. We always take our personal feelings and put them, not always, I'm not going to say always. Sometimes we can take our personal feelings and put them in front of how we feel about a person versus the actual truth about a person. So if someone went to jail, you know, there's no real nice way to put that, I guess. I guess you can put it in a nice way, but there's really no nice way to put it. But do you tell your child, yeah, your other half's in jail? You ain't gonna see him for 15, 20 years, right? For me, that would be age appropriate, right? You can tell a 4-year-old something a little differently than a 15, 16-year-old, you know, kind of along the lines of the Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, blah, blah, blah. But either way, I don't think you should badmouth the other half. I do think that you shouldn't curtail the truth, because now what you may end up doing is defending the other half's bad or irresponsibilities. If you have a child's other half that only comes around once a year and brings shoes and then doesn't come around anymore, but they live right down the street, you know, your child may think that that person lives far away and they're just, you know, coming by whenever they can to bring shoes, and they may actually appreciate that. Sometimes more is less. They feel, well, you know, they only come around once a year, but they always bring me gifts, so I'm going to be happy when I see them, because every time I see them, they always bring me gifts. Now, do we tell that child, you know, your other half live right down the street. They can come see you whenever they want. They just choose to once a year, you know? Or do we kind of just let things be the way they are? For me, I'm not gonna make an excuse for my child's other half. I'm not going to do that. That is up to them to explain whatever they have going on. So if my child's asking me a question, you know, why this, why that? If I don't know the answer, you might want to ask the other half. Now, if I do know the answer, I'll give the answer. And I expect the same way with me. You know, if you know the answer, give them the answer. But I can always explain, any parent should always be able to explain why they do what they do on behalf of their child. They should be able to, you know. And if we don't put our feelings in front of how we feel about the child's other half, then we might give a better description of them. My mother told me, your daddy left you. You know, your daddy was gone, he left, he didn't care about you, he went raise another family. And my dad wasn't around, so I didn't have any other proof that wasn't the case. And when I saw my dad a few times I saw him, I never thought to ask him, hey, why you not around? I never thought to ask that. I just knew when he was around, I might get something. So that made me happy. But also what that did was make me think that my dad was like a superhero. He came in, you know, unannounced, and he brought me these great things, and he went away to save the world, you know, stuff like that. And then I got older and I had conversations, you know, and I realized that every story has 3 sides, you know, one side, the other side, and the truth, every story. And it was pretty interesting to learn, you know, why he wasn't around or whatever. But that's accountability right there. That's accountability. If you're able to look in the mirror and say, look, I was wrong. I did a lot of wrong things, you know, for whatever reasons. That is why I wasn't around. Or that is why I didn't do this, or that is why I do that. Then that's good. But how often do people take accountability? You have some people, I know some people in real life that nothing is ever their fault. I mean, nothing. Everything that goes wrong in their life is someone else's fault. Either they got bad luck, or some people just don't like them, or some people are jealous of them. I know people in real life that are like that. When you do that, you take no accountability. None. When nothing is ever your fault. Or, yeah, it's my fault, but. It's always a but with these people. Those are some dangerous people. I try to avoid those people at all costs. When someone, nothing is ever their fault, and even if it is, every once in a blue moon, something is their fault, there's a but, I try to avoid those people. But those are the type of people that probably shouldn't create life, because when you create life and you don't have any accountability, well, how are you going to take any accountability for the life you created? Think about it. If you never take any accountability for nothing you do, oh, it's somebody else's fault. This person's fault. That person said this person did that. And then you create life. Well, how you going to take any accountability for that life? That life gets sick. That life needs to be taken here. That life needs this, that. It's going to be kind of hard when you don't take accountability for anything. So, bad-mouthing the other parent, nah, we shouldn't do that, child. I don't think bad-mouthing, but I also don't think we should lie to our children. If they ask a question, where's my other half? Why is my other half not around? Why did my other half do this? Why do I see my other half doing that? If you don't know the answer, hey, ask your other half. And if you do know the answer, I say tell it to them, because lying in the long run is never good, because they find out the truth and now they feel some kind of way, right? Especially when it comes to like parent like actual like parenting. So you have your child thinking that someone is their parent for their whole life, and then they realize it's not. Things like that. I don't agree with that. And that's one of them topics, right? It may not be the most popular opinion, but I just don't agree with it. Like we should really let our children know certain things. Maybe when they're old enough to understand, but we shouldn't use that old enough to understand answer as an excuse to not just tell the truth. Because I am not going to cover up for a bad parent. I'm not going to, they going through a rough time or they trying to get their life in order. I'm not going to do that. I ain't doing that. Like, if I know, I'll tell what I know. I'll base it on facts. If I don't know, I'll say you need to ask them. And if they want my opinion, I'll give my opinion based on the information I have. And I don't think none of that is bad-mouthing the other parent. I don't. I mean, children have a place, right? And there's certain conversations that you should not have with them. I totally agree. But we should not coddle our child's other half's situation because we don't want our children to be exposed to the truth. They're going to be exposed to the truth regardless. Sooner or later, they're going to get older and they're going to see the truth. Trust me. But why not let the other half be accountable for themselves? If your child has a question, they should be able to ask you. It shouldn't be one of those, I don't want to talk about that. Or, that's not your place to ask me. Because when is it their place to ask? When they're 40, 50 years old? When is their place to ask a question and get an answer? And obviously there's something, like I said earlier, some things children just shouldn't know, right? They wouldn't understand. You don't tell a 6-year-old, yeah, your other half murdered 6 people and now he's in prison for life. That's probably not something that you should tell a 6-year-old because they won't understand it. But there is context that you can give them. Well, you'll be, due to certain things that transpired, you'll only be able to see your other half, behind a glass wall. Is that okay to tell a 6-year-old? You're not lying to them. You're not coddling the other half situation. You're not bad-mouthing them. You're not lying. So it's like, why not do that instead of just bad-mouthing? Like, I think personally, when you badmouth the other half, I think that's something personal that you have against the other half. Something they did to you, maybe your own bitterness that makes you feel the way you are. Like, the way our other halves do us doesn't necessarily translate into the way they treat our children. I'm not going to, if my other half don't like me, you can't see our child because you don't like me. That doesn't make sense. What? Really? Or I don't like that your life is good and you're happy with someone, so I'm not going to let you see your child. Here's another crazy one. Well, you had a child with somebody else, so I'm not going to let my child, the child you have with me, interact with the child you had with someone else. What are we doing? What are we doing? It doesn't make sense unless you're bitter, insecure, immature, right? Then it would make sense. But to take a child and restrict them from seeing their biological sibling because you feel some kind of way about your child's other half, that's crazy. Now, if there's some kind of safety concern or an immediate danger or potential danger, then okay, you have to protect your child. I get that. But if it's just, oh, you had a kid with somebody else, so I don't want the kid you had with me to see that child. That's crazy. And it happens, okay? If y'all think that kind of stuff don't happen, it happens all the time. And what else happens, right? Let's go to child support route. I love bringing up child support. You have a great relationship with your child, and all of a sudden, the law requires that you pay child support. Now, all of a sudden, that relationship with your child just goes away. What? Huh? What did the child do? I don't understand why the relationship with your child changes because you have to pay child support for them. Huh? Is that how? Someone explain that one to me, because that happens too. It's never the child's fault. Okay, the children don't ask to be here. No child says I want to be born and I want to make your life miserable. No, we create life, y'all. We gotta hold ourselves accountable for that life. We may not agree with it, but we gotta still establish some form of relationship with our children. Because, and now this is a great segue. Oh, this is a great segue. Children don't really care about material things. They care about like affection and nurturing. When a child is born, they don't care how many houses and cars and how big their room is and what shoes they have. They want to be nurtured. They want to feel protected. They want that, okay? So why is it you have these parents that throw all these extravagant birthday parties and Santa Claus pictures and first school day pictures? I don't agree with that stuff, because a 1-year-old is not going to care about a picture of them on Santa Claus' lap. They don't. They can't even like, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Having a brain fart. They can't even give consent to these things happening. So when a child sits on a Santa Claus lap and takes a picture, that ain't even for the child, that's for the parent. Why do parents do that? Oh, I want a picture of my child on Santa Claus' lap. Why? It's for your self-gratification. Kids don't care about that. Well, let me throw this extravagant party and have everybody in the neighborhood and have bells and whistles and pigeons flying and for my child. The child doesn't care. 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, they don't care. They don't. That's for the parent. That's your self-gratification. You want to show everybody, oh, look what I can do for my child. That's it. That is it. Period. There ain't no reason for that. You can throw a birthday party for your child, a table, a cake, one candle, and they'll be just as happy because they're going to stuff their face and make a mess just as much as with everybody. The back to school, I don't know who started this. I don't want to say it's a ghetto thing. I don't want to do that. But who started, let me take a picture of what my child wearing on their first day of school and post it so the world can see? Man, children don't be caring about that stuff. They don't. Sometimes they don't even want to take the picture. Now, what happens is when you raise that child that way, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, now they conditioned that way, right? Now, every birthday I have a really big party. I don't really know why, because when I got them at 1 and 2, I don't know why I got them, but here I am, 70. Now I want a really big party. Why do you want to? Because I always got one. Okay, but was that for you or was it for your parents' gratification? And before, because I know how the internet is, at the end of the day, raise your kid however you want to raise them. There's no real wrong, real right. It's all about safety and nurturing. Raise them however you want. I just don't understand it. I don't understand throwing these big old parties. I don't even understand baby showers, other than getting free Pampers and stuff to help with the baby. I don't even understand that. Gender reveals, like, we do too much to impress other people. Way too much. Way too much. But when we think about our children, what is this doing for our child? What does a gender reveal do for your child? What is taking a picture with an Easter bunny and your child can't even hold themselves up to sit? What does it do for the child? It's a parent's self-gratification. And in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal, right? Hey, if I want my daughter to take a picture with Santa Claus, it shouldn't be a problem. It's not. It's not. It's just I don't understand it. I don't. You know, maybe my childhood traumas, right? Because I didn't really get nothing. I ain't taking no pictures of Santa. Maybe that's why I'm the way I am. But I just don't understand it. I don't think if I got a big birthday party, or if I ever got a birthday party, I don't think I'd be any different than how I am now. I don't think I'd feel specialer or any different, you know. Maybe I would, but I still wouldn't understand at 1 year old, why did you throw me this big old birthday party? There's no wrong answer. I just want to know why. We do so many things for our children, and our children don't consent to them because they can't. And it's like, are you doing it for the child or are you doing it for yourself? You know, when you put a perm in a 5-year-old's head and then you take a picture and put it on the internet, understand how dangerous perms are. Is that for the child? No, it's for you. It's self-gratification. And I've never been a fan of that, and I never will be a fan of that. But at the end of the day, raise your kids the way you want to raise them. Just be safe about it. But I don't think you should badmouth your other parent. I don't think you have to badmouth your other parent. Telling your child the truth about their other half when they ask is not automatically badmouthing the other half. It's not. And if someone feels a way about me that they want to tell, you know, my child, that's fine. And if my child wants to ask me, they can ask me. It's no, you know, don't ask me that. I don't feel comfortable, or, you know, stay in your place. That's never been me. I'm an open book, and we'll discuss it, and we'll, you know, deal with it accordingly. But bad-mouthing other parent, I just think that's some bitterness, like some bitterness a lot of people have. I'm mad that your life is great, or I'm mad that you happy with someone else, and now I got to do all these excessive things on behalf of our child. That's not cool, y'all. We got to do better in that regard. So that'll be it for this podcast. This is, I don't know if you guys noticed, this is a new setup. Well, this is not a new setup. This is set up at my Artesia residence. It probably sounds bad. You probably can hear things in the background, but I don't got my lights and my stand and everything. This was kind of a one-off, so I got to still get it together. It's going to take a little while, but still got to put that content out for you guys. I can't make the excuse, well, I'm not in Texas, so I can't do a podcast. Now I got to give it to y'all more and more and more, you know, keep this information coming to y'all. I got some users. I know Wendy gonna comment. You know, Latrice, she might comment. But y'all, real man, let me know what y'all think. I mean, share it. Get somebody else's opinion on it, because I like thinking outside of the box, and I like hearing others' opinions. This isn't something that's just my way or the highway. I like to hear different perspectives, right? Like, some people have a reason. Maybe, you know, well, our whole family did it, or you know, whatever reason, and it's fine. For me, I don't understand it, and I don't bash it or say it's wrong. I like to understand why people do it. And that's how you know, grow and develop and learn and everything. These podcasts is for knowledge and entertainment. You know, it's not to bash anybody. It's not to hurt any feelings. It's not to call anybody out. It's just giving some insight from my perspective on my channel. But that's it, man. Thank y'all for watching. And until the next YouTube video, be easy.